to share in the public
I
forum
understand.
because I don't know the context of what you went up there and then those things. So it wouldn't be fair to you, me, or anybody here to try to make this a court of law, so to speak. So, but we can get with you off of this.
Yes,
One
sir.
more question. Mr. Bridges, what kind of time frame are you trying to complete your business practice?
What I did was I presented my plans.
Right.
He told me it was gonna be 2 weeks. 2 weeks turned to 3 weeks.
Uh-huh.
And then I finally turned my plans in, and then Mr. Larry told me that I couldn't go back over there to present this. So in other words, if I was to go over there to present the plans that they asked me for to that building over there, because that I told them that it was an oil spill,
Yes, sir.
he wanted me arrested. Pretty much simple.
Yes, sir.
But you see all the information and y'all see what's going on, so y'all decide what's going on. It's really simple. It's not obvious.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
All right. Ms. Cheryl Pruitt? Ms. Cheryl?
I'm good for now.
You're good for now? Speak now or forever. That's just for tonight. Ms. Linda, will you?
Hello, I'm Linda Williams. Linda Williams at 1602 Southwest 8th Street, Ligo. Yes, I have some very much concerns. First of all, sir, you don't need your chairman to look at your plans. You need to talk to your attorney. The attorney needs to look over what you've given to them for it to be legally. You don't need your city. He's just your president. Ask your attorney to look over your things. Okay, that's my first thing. My second thing is that you're talking about trash cans. My problem, I've already discussed this with you, where your trash cans be placed when you get these big garbage pails out there. Are you want them in the front of your place or you want them in the back? Older people, how are they going to bring their trash cans to the front when it's time to get those garbage cans to be, your trash people going to pick them up? That was my other concerns about your trash cans. That is one of the major things you're going to have here in the city of Ligo. If you want me to put my garbage can in the back, so on trash day, this is Thursday, are you expecting me to drag that heavy garbage can all the way to the back and take it up to the front? Older ladies, disabled people aren't going to be able to do that. So what is it going to be a fee because it's behind my house or whatever? That's my second thing I want to talk to you about. Where you're going to have those big trash cans. My third thing is I want to talk to you. Thank you so much. How I fought for those new city water pipes coming in. I'm so pleased. So there, I'm so pleased to see that they're doing this over in District 2. They have started replacing the pipes over in District 2 that was there, what, 52 years ago, 48 years ago that they was in there? Now District 2 is getting new pipes, new water pipes that fought so hard for it. Thank you, the city of Ligo, for giving us that over in District 2. Thank you. Also, I want to talk to you about the railroad crossing. There are the worst railroad crossing. These are worse. We went through this when I was sitting up there, and you said that you need to get in touch with the railroad people. There's numbers on that box that you need to call, and they would take care of those crossings. It hasn't been done. Somebody needs to take charge and look after those railroad crossings. They're terrible. Your cars are getting out of line from going over there, all the railroad crossing when you cross over, and especially off of that's Walker Street. It's terrible over there, your crossings. Also, the trash. Somebody mentioned the trash. The trash is all over, especially on 8th Street. You have people moving into these row houses and they're bringing all the trash and they're dumping it over on 8th Street. It is ridiculous. And also, All Aboard was last week, before last, whatever it was. I was so disappointed to see there was not very many local people supporting that All Aboard. There were mostly people from out of town. Where it was done for the local people here in Ligo, we did not support it. I was there all day, and we didn't support it. This is Ligopians. We need to support things whenever. Lights. Over lights. We need lights all over the city of Ligo. It is one dark place. I rode through the downtown last night, and honestly, we need lights not just over wherever you want to place it. Let's start putting lights over in the neighborhood so that stop crimes, and let's put some downtown so at least they'll know where they are. Potholes, yes, we need to do something about potholes. Security cameras. My question to you, to the chief, who's going to monitor those cameras that the housing is going to be? Is that going to be, if you're going to hire somebody to monitor those cameras from the housing authority, or how they're going to be? So those are just some of the things that I want to talk to you about. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right, thank you, Ms. Linda. Moving on, that's the end of the public comment session. We'll be moving on to item.
I wanted to
offer a useful
Can you come to the
tool.
mic, please, if you're going to speak?
Yes, ma'am. I have a useful tool.
Go to the mic, ma'am, go to the microphone.
Excuse me. To the city manager, city council, hold on. Before you study the public, so, you know me very well. Okay, you told us 3 minutes, Mike, so you mean that I have another 3 minutes I can come up and talk? So, I don't understand what you're doing.
Sorry about that.
Oh, no. You said that was your rules, right? So we need to stick to our rules, okay? Thank you. Ms.
Okay, so we go
Linda
to-
Brown Owens Williams.
Item 4, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President. As you recall, at our Freedom Fest last year, we had ordered a plaque to honor the 269th Engineering Company, I think they're 868 now, for the deployments to the Middle East, which you were part of that, and I know Chief Davis, and there may have been others. If there are in the audience, we thank you for your service. The plaque has been delivered and placed, and there will be a brief ceremony on March the 5th at 11:30, just to acknowledge that. But
Where's the location?
yes, sir, it's at the Veterans Park. It hadn't come in, when we had Freedom Fest, so that will be there. Speaking of the trash, and then Mr. Flynn mentioned the meeting with the Chamber of Commerce about the lift up live oak. There is a lot of interest, and there's a good group of people that are coming together to do something about trash in our community. I would say this, if you drive out the county, you'll see a lot of trash out there. And I was really surprised when I went to Jacksonville a couple of weeks ago, how much trash is on I-10 from Columbia County on to Jacksonville. I was really surprised at that, because they're usually pretty good about picking up trash here. So it's not just a live oak problem, it's a people problem, I think. And so I think Lift Up Live Oak is going to be good, and I know there's at least one group, beautification group, it's a national group of Mr. Weaver heading that up, and he's going to be, not this Mr. Weaver, but another one, to try to address that problem. So
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. But we can use your help too.
And that's what I wanted to bring up.
Yes, we're aware of that. And here.
What, no, I have a tool called Just
Oh.
Serve that
Okay, great.
for the city to get volunteers for free within the community.
We'll get
And
with you.
I'll bring that up there.
Last thing, I know everyone knows about the incident last week, and the actions of our local police department and local law enforcement, which we appreciate so much. I've had a number of people ask, and I know Mr. Sessions asked, he's going to speak to this, about recognizing our brave men and women, chief of our local Live Oak Police Department, and that's coming, but Mr. Sessions, I think, has got some more information on that.
Currently, the FDLE complete investigation is not complete at this point, so we're not really supposed to talk about any names of either the victim of the shooting or the officers that did it. Live Oak Police Department basically limited the problems that we had by catching the person. And when we get information that we can share, we'll share it as soon as we can. But I would like to honor in our next meeting the LOPD and those that really took care of this threat to our community.
That's all I had, Mr. President. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Mr. President, let me say one thing.
Sure.
District 1, my intention is to start a community trash pickup. I got inspired when I went back home for first of the holiday in January. Quitman, Georgia is about the size of Live Oak. I rode all over the city of Quitman, black neighborhood, white neighborhood, mixed neighborhoods, and you barely saw trash, period. Apparently, folks in that community, they took pride in their city, their workers, and everybody just working together. And Mayor's always talking about beautification of our city, but it has to start with each individual, each person in each house, to be able to make sure you police your own area first. But I hope I'll be successful around March to have a community pickup, get the residents there to help me go out. I've started already. I get on my zero turn and I go pick up trash. So Hopefully this young lady can help me out as well with some volunteers, whatever else. But Mr. Mayor, I appreciate your concern as well for the
Thank
city.
All right. Mr. Furry?
Good side.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just wanted to kind of update the council and on the John Hale Park project. As you know, we removed the restrooms in the kitchen, going to do some renovations planned there. We had a little stall, so the county had put in for a grant, we received the grant, we were awarded that, we signed the grant agreement, and so now we're ready to move forward. So just kind of wanted to get some consensus. It was put out the other day, and I didn't want anybody to get caught off guard. I hadn't met with the council and talked to you guys yet, but at the county commission meeting, we're talking about different options that we could do with that facility. So it's an $800,000 grant. As you know, Pilgrims had put some money in, and I think Ms. Joanne had slid some money in. The council did, had put some money aside also to go with that. So roughly $1 million we have to put into that project. And so the question is, do you put $1 million into a 75-year-old building and renovate it, or do you tear that down and start over from scratch and build a nice modern facility that the community can be proud of? So that's kind of the direction I think we need to go. We're going to obviously run some numbers. Wanted to just kind of get your blessing or some consensus. I don't know that we need board action. The parks will take the lead on that, and we'll work with staff and keep you guys in the loop of what the plan is and what it might look like as we get to that point. But didn't want anybody to see if there was any major kickback anyway of going that route if that's what we do as far as removing the building and starting over from scratch. So just
Complete sentence.
no,
I just got, now, are you talking about, have you got in mind what type, brick, block, metal building that would be larger than what the existing building is?
I would anticipate trying to increase the size, the footprint of that building, yes, sir. More than likely for that kind of money, it's probably going to be a red steel, metal building, but we would try to at least put the front with some brick facade or some stucco, some, something to pretty it up some, and it's just not another metal building, that we have. So that would be the plan.
So still the same type usage now, multi-purpose uses?
Mm-hmm. So, yes, sir, all that. The grant requires us to, for the next 5 years anyway, not that we couldn't continue it, but the grant is through the broadband program, the Department of Commerce. So the three main things, the three main elements of the scope of work were workforce, and someone maybe can help me out, workforce, telehealth, and education. So we need to have a space set up in there. There's some money set aside for technology. So currently there's no internet over there, in the facility. There's no bathrooms in there. Thanks to the CRA for allowing us to have the trailer over there so people can use it. But yeah, so we would have, a meeting room with some internet, some private, spaces where if somebody needed to, can't get to the doctor but can get to the community center, they can go in and get on their phone or get on the laptop and the internet and talk to their doctor and get some health care, that way. Career Source or some other, career groups might go in there and have volunteers or have staff in there 1 or 2 days a week or whatever the schedule is, but people in the community can come in and get help with a resume, help with an application, job posting, interview skills, that sort of thing. I'm not saying that the building will be staffed 24 hours a day or 9 to 5 kind of thing, but we would partner with some of those community groups to assist in telehealth, workforce, and education. So as long as we do those three things, we're not going to build a gymnasium in there, but we're going to increase, meeting rooms, kitchen, restroom, that sort of thing.
So now, have we started a reconstruction project with the bathroom, or will that stop?
No, it'll be worked into it. It'll be worked into it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. We'll figure out the logistics of how we use the Pilgrims money, and because it'll probably go through the county to finance, the grant will, and we'll get with Miss Joanne and we'll get her money somehow.
Okay.
I know it's tough.
So now John Hill Park under your department?
Yes, sir. I mean, Live Oak Swanee County Recreation Board is an interlocal agreement between the city and the county.
Okay.
We lease the parks from the council, and so we maintain the parks on your behalf. Yes, sir. You fund us, you send us money to help you. Yes, sir.
With the grant, is there any requirement of matching that we have to do, or just the part that we contribute?
In this particular grant, there is no match required at all. We had always earmarked the money from Pilgrims because they wanted, that was part of the project that they wanted to, contribute to in their program. Can't remember, Hometown Strong, I think was the name of their program. And then I think the city was just realizing that that's probably not going to be enough money, so they started setting some money aside, or they did 1 year anyway, I'm not sure. But yeah, no match required.
Are you expecting to increase the parking lot? Would you have to do that? Or?
I haven't got there yet, I don't know.
Okay, you haven't
I
got
don't know.
it. Okay.
Hopefully, we can make some improvements there too.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Well, my opinion is you ask whether or not if we should tear down demolition or fix something old. My opinion is, hey, let's start new.
Mhm.
So that's my
Yeah,
viewpoint.
kind of my thoughts too, and like I said, just kind of wanted to make sure there was nothing that I wasn't missing that, somebody else knew about, but that makes the most sense to us too. So we'll keep you in the loop, we'll work with staff and keep you guys posted.
All right, now, Mr. President, we expect to make a decision or just?
No, I think it's supposed to be just informational, make sure there was no unforeseen.
I don't think we need an action.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Mr.
Thank
Frank.
you guys, appreciate it.
All right.
All right, moving along to item number 5, council, Ms. Robinson.
Before we ask Cornerstone to come up, I want to take a moment out to recognize Black History Month. I think that is very important, and especially from the position as a leader where I sit right here. If you don't know where you come from and where you're going, it's kind of difficult. We look at things that are happening today and we say Black history is not important. But let me be the first to say, as talking to my mom, who's 90 years old, as she shares with me, talking to a former slave. So that lets you know slavery was not too far removed. Her great-grandfather, Wesley Cherry, was a slave here in Live Oak, and she recalls carrying him food. He was 18 or 19 years old when he was released when he was freed as a free man. So just let you know that's, just a couple of generations ago, and my relationship to her, reverse it and think about your relationship to your folks and the role that they played. So let's not forget Black history is very important, and it's not so far removed that we have to forget. So that's what I want to say. Before the Cornerstone come up and give us a presentation about the CDBC grants, and I always get those initials turned around, but let's hear about.
Good evening. It's an honor to be before you all tonight. I'm Jeffrey Winter with Cornerstone Community Partners, here with my business partner and Live Oak resident, Spencer Neighbors. We have been referred to this council, specifically Councilman Robinson, by one of your county commissioners to discuss prospective CDBG application. If y'all aren't too familiar with it, that's understandable, as the city of Live Oak has sat out of this project, this program for at least the last 5 years. It has afforded you all a competitive advantage in the upcoming cycle, which will be opening up on March 5th and closing on May 2nd. We've emailed copies of scoring projections. Our approach is we'd rather give you all enough information so you all can make an informed decision on how the city would like to proceed. Based off of the scoring projections as well as the self-scores for the last 4 fiscal years, we're projecting a score of 893.2 out of 1,000 total points. That not only would have received funding in each of the last 4 funding cycles that the city has sat out of, it also would have been the top scoring application in 3 out of those 4 cycles. Effectively, every year the city chooses not to pursue the funding. You're passing up on about $700,000 in funding that could be made available to the city residents. The scoring projection for the application we put forward is for the Housing Rehabilitation Program, I've heard a lot of comments tonight about things that can be done to help assist elderly and disabled residents of the city. This program is specifically geared towards making home improvements towards elderly and income eligible and disabled residents throughout the city. We pulled together scoring pages and provided that information to you to give the city the option of pursuing this funding opportunity with a consultant or without. More importantly, we want to make sure you have the information, so if you decide to just submit, you have an application that's filled out and ready to submit. We've made ourselves available to answer any questions you may have. We would respectfully request council's consideration of a motion to authorize us to work with city staff for the submission of an application. To be clear, we are charging no fee for this. If the city receives a funding award, we would just simply ask for an opportunity to participate in the request for proposals process.
Can you explain more about what that entails? As you say, there's no charge to the city, but you would ask for what in return, I'm sorry?
So we've got two processes here. First, the application submission process.
Right.
That's what we're offering to do at absolutely no charge to the city of Live Oak. If the city is awarded, which based on these scoring projections, the city would have received an award in each of these last 4 fiscal years, then at that point, we would respectfully request an opportunity to participate in the request for proposals process to procure a consultant to provide these services. I do want to make another note as well. The administrative funds to pay for these types of services are all included within the grant program. So effectively, we're talking about no out-of-pocket expense to the city, and you can provide for approximately $700,000 in housing rehabilitation activities or other activities for your residents.
So far as rehabilitation of houses, now, benefits for our residents. What besides they get money to what, fix up their homes or
In the housing
improvement?
Yes, sir. In the housing rehabilitation category, you would have a commitment you would make to the state. You would say, we provided this funding, we're going to provide housing rehabilitation services to X number of residents throughout the city. At which point you'll have an open application intake process, which a consultant would be managing that unless you were to do that in-house. So we would present to the council a list of qualified residents for approval.